All right. Let's see who we have getting on here tonight. This is an exciting night. This is just something different. Something different we're doing. Let me see. As soon as people come on, I'm going to have you guys let me know you're on for the usual. Oh, I see a couple people on. If you guys could say hello, say something so that I know that our comments are working, that would be awesome. So I showed 3 so far. Haley's watching. Hi, Haley. Hey, Lynn. So I apologize for pushing it to 7:30, but you guys all know that I have a space over at Junction. That's where we hold all of our Dixie Belle paints, as well as my furniture, my creative art stuff, everything over there. And we're opening to the public for the first time since all this happened tomorrow. So I had to get my space ready. Hey, Marcy. And so I was running a little late and I had to make dinner and everything else. So I was like, I'm just going to push it to 7:30 and that way I have the time to get done everything that I need to do. So, all right. So before I get started, hey, Melody, before I get started, I'm going to actually put my apron on because this is not my painting clothes. I didn't have time to change it to my painting clothes. And what'll happen is I will get stuff on my clothes. So hold on. All right, you look at these lovely colors. These were all the colors that everybody chose. So it's funny because I'm going to go through each one of these colors with you and I'm going to explain to you why I think each one of them has its own purpose. All right, so the first thing that I am going to start with is collard greens. That was one of the colors. Do we get to see the chair you were working on? The chair that I was working on is already finished and sold. I posted pictures when it finished. I'm sorry. So this is collard greens. This is like an army green, a dark army green. This was one of the colors that was chosen. And then we're going to go, so let me explain to you how we're going to do this at the same time. So we're going to start with collard greens. Then we're going to blend it into Colonel Mustard. Yay. Which literally looks like mustard. Then we're going to use Daisy, which I love Daisy. I think it's such a bright, pretty color. I was shocked that this had so many people had chosen that. We're going to do some highlighting with the Peony because then what I'm going to do is the highlights are going to accent this awesome transfer that we're going to use across the front here. But the last color that was chosen has already gone on only because I'm going to show you how to use that color with the no pain gel stain to make a wood grain finish. This is a wood graining tool. This is rubber. This is not the one that we carry at Dixie Belle. I actually got this at Michael's. It's as you can look at it, it's got grooves here to get part of the grooving, and then it has all this in here. So when you're putting this on, this is actually easier to work with on the rubber, I feel, than the plastic. So this is at Michael's. It was from Art Minds. I want to say it was like $8.99. So that's what I used for the wood graining tool. I'm going to show you, this was the pine cone. As you can see, I've already put 2 coats of pine cone on here. I've also already satin coated it because before we go to do the wood graining with, I feel like you guys can't see me. I should sit and talk. Before we do the wood graining, you want to put the satin or the sealer over the top because the paint is so porous, it'll actually take all that in. Hey, Patty. Oh, our niece Patty's on right now. Will you just kiss and snuggle that Louie for me? She has the most adorable son. Oh my God, guys, he's just like so stinking cute. So I went and I did the sealer on here because we did not want to seal. As you can see, I actually got paint in and around here because I know that I'm going to be painting this and I'm going to cover that up anyway. So I wanted to get this thorough with the pine cone as possible so that I could go ahead and do a wood grain. So what we're going to do tonight, before we start anything, we're actually going to do the wood grain because I want this to actually cure as quick as possible so that I can put my top coat on it. So we're going to do that first, all right? So the first thing I'm going to do is put on my gloves. Whenever you're working with the no pain gel stain, it's an oil-based stain, so you're going to want to wear gloves. It does stain very well. So I always put on my nifty little gloves here. I put them on when I paint as well, because for me it's just easier than trying to pull everything out of my fingers. My fingernails specifically seem to get all the paint on them. So, all right. So this is our no paint gel stain, and this is the espresso, and that's what I'm going to use. Hey, Cindy. That's what I'm going to use actually to make and do this wood grain. So I'm actually going to stand up for this, and you guys, I might be out of the way. Hey, Deanna. I might be out of the way of the view. However, for me, it's more important for you guys to see what I'm doing than to look at my mug. So that's what I'm going to do. So you need to seal this very well. If you don't, what will happen is it will dry up on you. So you definitely want to seal it very well. And then I apply it with, and of course it's on the other side, I apply it with a sponge. What I'm actually going to do is bring this closer if I can. I don't know if you guys can see. I'm trying to get it as close as possible so you guys can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to step in front real quick. Sorry. And then, hey, Dave. Hey, Cheryl. So, see how much I have on there? So the no paint gel stains like it's a gel. All right. You don't need to put a lot on here. I actually take some of it off of there. And I'm actually going to put it in a line about the width. You don't want to go further than the width of the actual wood graining tool. So that is the first one. Then I'm going to take my wood graining tool right here. I'm going to start here. I'm going to pull it and rock it, and pull it and rock it, and pull it and rock it. Can you guys see how that looks? Let me push this up a little bit. That's the wood graining tool. Now, I'm actually going to, oh, sorry guys, I think it just dropped on me. I'm trying to fix this so you guys can watch this. I apologize. All right, now I'm going to go to the next one. I'm going to go right next to it, and I'm going to do the same thing. I don't need a large amount on here. It's just enough to be able to pull that wood graining tool through. And you'll see that there's a huge contrast, but what we're going to do is before I actually do this, I want to wipe off any excess. Between the different ones, you're going to want to dab and kind of see how I got dabbed that excess off. And then you're going to start here again, and you're going to rock it and rock it and rock it and rock it. And then it keeps the wood graining up. Now what we're going to do, this thing keeps dropping on us, guys. I'm sorry. Is that easier? Let me see. That looks like it might be easier. Can everybody see better? Hey, Wendy. All right, so then we're going to go to the next row, and it's going to be our last row. And I'm going to put some more of the stain on here. Because I want it to go, and I don't need it. See how light I put it on there? And then I'm going to take it. I'm actually going to come from the other side with this because I want to kind of give it a different look. So I just want to rock it as I pull it through. So now, when I lift this up to show you guys, you're going to see the little bit of a difference of the wood grain. What I'm also going to do is I want to just stain this. I don't want to really wood grain this part of it. I just want to stain it. Because then I'm going to wipe this stain back on here, and it just literally stains the pine cone just enough to give it that wood look. So when you're using the wood graining tool, you want to have a base coat at all times. It's 2 coats of paint or 2 different other ones. Hey, Roger. All right, and then over here, I'm going to do this side. Just taking what's left on this little sponge. I'm doing this side. Now that is going to sit and do its thing while we're painting. Now, the best thing that I can tell you about this is when I show you this, you're going to look and you're going to see all this awesome, awesome wood graining in here. So if you can't see, I'm going to lift it up so that you can see. Can you guys see all that wood grain that's on there? It looks pretty dark, right? There's a huge contrast. What we're going to be doing, I'm going to sit and talk to you guys about it a little bit. So when you do wood graining, in order to take that contrast out of there, what we're going to do is we're going to take our top sealer that I'm going to use on here, and we're going to lightly tint it with some of the pine cone, which was our base one. Hey Becky, hey Brittany, so that when I put that sealer on, it's going to mute it just enough to take that harshness of that wood look that we have on the top to kind of give it that nice kind of mellowed out look. All right, so now this is going to sit while we start putting all our colors in. So we're going to start over here on this side, and I'm actually going to lower the camera. I had it lowered originally, and then I moved it up because I wanted you guys to see that, but give me 2 seconds because I want to lower the camera so you guys can see the whole thing that we're doing from on the base. So give me 2 seconds, everybody. Bear with me. Of course, it's not going to go down like it normally does, right? Because that's Murphy's Law for me right now. And let me see, is that low enough? Just a little bit more. There we go. That should do it. You guys should be able to have a great view. Awesome. Good view right there. All right, so I want you guys to be able to see everything that we're doing on this. We're going to be starting from the bottom. I'm actually going to jack this up just a little bit because I personally don't like to lean down, and I have the ability with the hydraulic table to bring it up. So if you give me a second, and then we're going to start our painting. So I want to apologize that I haven't done any lives, but those of you who know me well know that I have Vinny, and he's home with us, and because Vinny's home with us, that's who I focus on when he's home. So I've been tending to not even paint. I've worked on a couple of our custom orders that I have, but most of the time I have not even been painting because I did notice I missed a couple places because I just want to focus on Vinny when he's home. He is my priority. Let me see. And I'm sure you guys all understand. All right, let's get this party started. So the first thing we're going to start with, and we're going to do like a blended effect. So we're going to start with our collard greens. I'm going to mix this a little bit. I noticed it looks like it needs to be mixed. If you open up your paints and you see a little cloudiness in them, just shake them up really good. And you're going to pop it. And I am actually going to use this brush. I typically have been using my Chalk Pro, but my Chalk Pro has different color stuck on it that I've been working on a custom piece with, so I don't want to do that. What I want to do with this is I'm going to use this. We're going to start with a darker base. This is where we're going to be doing our blending up. So I was shocked that this color was on there as well. This actually color got the most votes out of all of them, which was really shocking to me because collard greens to me is just like, it's hard to explain. It's like an army color, but it definitely to me has, I like it. I was quite shocked, to be honest with you. Quite shocked. So I know typically you see me blend from the top up. We're actually going to do a sideways blend. I'm going to flip this around so I can do the other side. I chose a small piece on purpose so that I'd be able to flip it around and do things with you guys and be able to show all directions. Let me take some of this stuff off of here. All right, now we'll get on this side. I've already prepped this piece. I initially used the White Lightning. This has a coat of Slick Stick on it because it actually had a really like, I don't know if you can see from there, but it actually had like kind of a pitted kind of texture to it. This was a piece that was a super cheap piece. I think I paid like $5 for it. Knowing that I would do something original with it, and I am. All right, so we got our first coat of collard greens on. Now we're going to start with Colonel Mustard. Colonel Mustard is this the color you used on your bird dresser? Yes, it is the color I used on my bird dresser. All right, Colonel Mustard. You'll see I have a different brush for each color. There's a reason. I don't want to blend my colors together specifically yet. So then we're going to bring this in. This is some brightness up in this house. Look at that thing. Woo! I'm actually going to bring it in as close as possible because we're going to do the majority of it, the rest of it, with the daisy. That is the Colonel Mustard, and it literally is the color of mustard. Hey, Sandy. So I'm going to tap this up. I want to get this front in here because that, and now I'm going to flip this around again so that we can do the other side. Yeah, this is looking pretty. You guys picked some pretty intense colors for me to work with. All right, let's turn this around again. I'm trying to do it without, here we go. So I'm going to put this one on. Pretty intense colors. I literally sat there going, all right, I know I need to mix these colors. How am I going to mix these colors? How am I going to get them to work? And then it dawned on me exactly what I was going to do. So my goal with teaching you guys and you in these, you're going to have to convince me. Cheryl's not really liking the color still. That's all right, Cheryl, I'll convince you. My goal is to show you that the colors all have a way of just blending themselves together and working well together. Hey, Lisa, how you doing? All right, so now we're done with our first coat of Colonel Mustard. And now I'm actually going to turn this because what we're going to do is primarily the front with the daisy. The daisy is a lighter yellow. And I have not opened up daisy yet, so you guys get to see what it looks like when you open up your paints. If you haven't ordered paints from us before, sometimes there might be like a little film on the top of them. This one does not, but if it does, that's okay. It's what it is it's actually a protective film that sometimes will go on during transport. Just go ahead and don't mix it into your paints. Take that film off and go ahead and start your paints with that. It'll be fine, just fine. I'm trying to move this around so you guys can see the whole front of it. All right, so I am going to start. I am going to paint with the drawers in. I don't typically do that. I usually take the drawers out, but today I've decided, see, I like daisy. I think daisy is a really pretty color. I'm not sure why you guys chose daisy as one of these colors. I just think it's a really nice color. It's pretty. It has its own space in this world, I guess, is the way I look at it. And daisy is going to blend in as the third color on the sides as well. All right, I'm going to pull this out just a little bit so I can get into the sides. So I was going to leave the drawers in. I might have to pull them out because I'm realizing that the drawers are definitely recessed enough that I can't get into that little lip there. So what I might do is just pull. I'm going to do the fronts of a couple of these and then I'm going to pull them off. So that we can do the rest of it. How's that? I'll do the top ones and then pull them off. I don't know if you guys can see this. This piece was already painted. I did not want to strip it, and I figured I will use the texture from the paint to my advantage. I typically don't recommend painting over an already painted piece because you don't know what someone else used on it. I'm trying to move this. I'm realizing that you guys are kind of not getting the full view of everything here. You don't know how somebody else painted it, what they used on it, and how well they actually applied that paint. So I don't always do that, but this piece I'm going to because I'm going to use the texture to my advantage for what I want to accomplish. And I'm going to go ahead and pull this drawer out that we already did. You're going to hear a lot of noise because I always take the hardware off and I put it inside the drawers. So what happens is now the drawers, as I go to move them out, you'll hear all that hardware kind of smacking around. So I was pretty excited to try this. If you didn't originally read my original thing on this, Cece Restyled, if you don't follow her, I suggest you follow her on Facebook, YouTube. She has some amazing, amazing videos. She had a challenge where she asked, exactly like I did, to pick your 5 worst colors that you would think are the worst, actually. And then she was going to show exactly how those colors work. She did an amazing job. And then I actually decided I would give it a shot as well. Cece was nice enough to share with a lot of us retailers how she did it so that we could be able to do the same challenge. And that's how this challenge was born. All right. All right, so those drawers are done. So let's get to the actual piece here. So I am going to get this first coat of Daisy. As you can see, I don't know if you guys can see this, but whoever did this originally painted in on these. I'm going to do that as well because when my drawers are in, I don't want any of that to show. I want to make sure that it is seamless. Details are everything when you're painting. So, in my downtime, I will share with you guys, ooh, I got some paint on my stuff up here. I'll have to fix that after. In my downtime, I have been actually in the process of working on another project that I cannot wait to announce to you guys. I am in the process of building a course, and this course is how to start your own furniture painting business. Hey, Sandy! To paint your furniture, get it sold, get the prices that you want for it, how to price your furniture. And then additionally, there'll be a lot of resources on it. Cece, that I was talking about, is actually one of the people that I've got some of her stuff on there. I've got some of Brush by Brandy stuff on there. A little bit of knowledge from all different people within the industry. So that will hopefully be ready to launch. I'm praying by the end of next week. That'll be nice and fun to do. I've been working really hard on it. I've had somebody helping me build the course. It's pretty extensive. Gives a ton of knowledge that if you ever decided you want to get into furniture painting, how you would go about to start your own furniture painting business. How you sell your furniture, how you price it, where you sell it, all that stuff. All right, I'm going to flip this to the side. And of course, I would have done it the other direction, right? All right, I'm going to flip this to the side because I want to get the daisy in on this side. As you can see, I haven't actually blended yet. I'm just kind of getting that line in there of where I want my blending to start. Because if you've watched any of my stuff before, when you get to the blending end of it, you want to make sure that your blending starts on your second coat, not on your first coat. So the first coat is always your initial coat that lays down what you're doing, right? The second coat is where you start your blending. So I'm going to flip this again, and we're going to get this to the side because we're going to do some blending. Let me see where we're at on this. Trying to see if I need to. So I'm going to grab my heat gun because I want to try and dry this a little bit so that we can do some, as Cece would call it, blendy bendy. Hold on just a second. So luckily my heat gun's already plugged in because I learned a nice little trick over the weekend that I wish I had known before. When you're stripping paint, if you heat it up with the heat gun, it peels off. You don't have to use a stripper. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. It looks very 70s. Right now it looks 70s. It won't when we're finished. Cheryl said it looks really 70s. It won't when we're finished, I promise. I'm not applying the heat to actually do much, but except for to dry it. I want to try and, you can use a blow dryer. This is an embossing heat gun. I use this one because it's easier for me to hold. kind of get my stuff in there. Looks a little elementary already, doesn't it? Hey, Cindy, my sister's on. All right, so I'm gonna, oh, see, it's not dry on the bottom. My gloves just touched it and I could feel it. And I just grabbed that I painted. Seriously, I can't get out of my own way right now. Hold on, guys, I gotta stand in front of you to get this. All right, we're gonna start with our blending. Do you guys remember, hey, Melinda, do you guys remember how we use our blending? What are the important things? You're gonna put down your first coat. I am personally going to be blending with, believe it or not, I'm going to use a mini brush to blend today, only because I did it on another project that I've been working on and it worked really well. So you're going to need your sprayer. We already have paint on this, so I'm literally just going to spray that, and I'm going to start my second coat. I'm going to start on the side that I know I'm not going to be blending in. Whoops, I just hit that yellow. And then I'm going to bring this as close as possible. So I'm spraying to dilute my paint just enough to get it on there. Then I'm going to take my yellow. This is our Colonel Mustard yellow. I have to tell you guys, this is not one of my favorites. When you guys picked Pine Cone, I was like, I get it. Colonel Mustard, another one of I get it. All right, so now we have that on there. So now what I want to do is I want to try and get some blending in here. So I'm actually going to take this and I'm going to just adjust in that line. I want to soften that line. I sprayed my brush and I just want to soften that line to kind of make them blend together. You guys see how I'm letting the brush do the work for me? I'm barely touching that paint. Do you see how that just blended nice and smooth in there? That's because I'm saying, hey, brush, do it for me. I got to sit in front of you guys again because I didn't bring my paper towels over here with me. So that's why if you use your brush to do your blending, and you're always going to want, see how bad I am? I actually whip it off in here. But you just go ahead and mix it onto here. Thanks, Melinda. And now I'm not really happy with the way that it came right here. So what I want to do is I want to actually add just a little more paint. I'm just going to add just a little more paint to this. And then I am going to spray my brush. And I'm just going to wisp it. I only want to wisp it over it and try and get that blending in there and soften it up just enough to make it blend. All right, see how I changed that over there to make it blend a little bit more? All right, now we're gonna go to our third color, should I say, which is our daisy. So I'm only dipping very little. I'm spraying my piece for my second coat because you don't necessarily need a full coat on that second coat. You only need it to do that secondary. So I'm actually going to blend with the brush that I'm using, and the reason is because I'm using yellows, and they tend to blend together pretty well with this brush. That top just doesn't want to work for me. I'm going to have to figure that one out. All right, do you see where you have the Colonel Mustard now going into the yellow? Pretty bright looking, right? But I'm going to add transfers onto this that's going to blend that up even more, and you guys, it'll actually work well together. It almost looked like the grass to the thing, to be honest with you. All right, let's flip this baby around and we're gonna blend the other side. What do you think about that? All right, now the other side has not dried well yet either. So you're gonna start finding out this time of the year that, unless you're already in Florida, that your paints with humidity do not dry very well. So you're gonna have to, I have a dehumidifier here in my workshop, but sometimes it still doesn't matter. It just doesn't like to dry. So you gotta apply some heat to it, or a blow dryer on cool. I've actually blow dried on cool as well. But you're definitely going to have to apply to it in order to get move forward, or just let it dry in between. You make it look so easy. I think I work it too much. Cheryl, what you have to do is you have to let the brush work for you. Don't push. You're not necessarily pushing the paint around. You're letting the brush just feather that paint in when you're blending. If you try and force it, it's not going to blend. It's going to be exactly what it does. It just pushes that paint around. And you don't want to push the paint around. You just want to blend it, right? All right, so we're going to start on our second coat. Oh, I had a little bit of Colonel Mustard on that from the last. So let me... Hey, Michael, I just saw you jump on. If Alex is with you, hey, Alex. All right. I am noticing, though, that the paint, I probably should have put 2 coats of Slick Stick on here, but I was so eager to paint with you guys, I didn't. I am noticing that the paint in a couple areas isn't sticking like it should, and that's because I did not Slick Stick. So if you don't want it to peel, or you don't want it to, should I say, come off in that areas, you definitely want to Slick Stick, okay? Don't do what I did. Don't listen. Don't follow what I did. All right. So then we're going back in with our Colonel Mustard. And then I'm taking my brush again. I'm going to wet it. I'm wetting it down. And then I am literally just going to feather it in. I'm going to use a little bit of water to spray to help it in a little bit. I did notice it was starting to like dry up a little bit over there. If you feel like it's pulling through, just go ahead and use your spray. That's what your water spray is for when you're painting, is to actually take it and make it a little more pliable. Cheryl, do you see how I'm just like barely letting it? I'm letting the brush do the work for me. That's what you need to do in order for it to blend correctly. All right, again, I'm going to take my brush, clean it. You don't want to have your paints blend with the brush because it'll muddy it up. So if I got some of that into this, it would muddy it up. So when I'm going to that third color, I don't want to muddy it up. So as you saw, I sprayed down my piece because I already have paint on my brush. And I'm going to get close to this. Now again, with this one, because it's the yellow and I'm feeling comfortable with it, I'm actually going to blend with this brush because I don't mind that these mix these yellows a little bit. All right, you guys see how that blended in nice and smooth? Cheryl said really light-handed. Oh, I think I lost connection for a second. If I did, I'm sorry. I think I'm back. Our internet here has been a little wonky. It's the only way to put it. So that's the sides blended. I am probably going to do a little bit more over here. I'm not happy with this. So I'm going to try and put a little more green into that and blend it in. There we go. So now it looks like it's going into a nice blend. All right. Now, let's flip this baby around. All right, I'm going to put my second coat on here, and then I'm actually going to put the drawers in to do my second coat with my other blending. All right? So let's get this party started. So we're using the Daisy again. This is the lighter yellow. You guys can hear that sprayer going off. I spray it. I want it to get a nice, even, smooth finish. What's great is this paint has such amazing coverage that I don't even really have to work at it that much. It kind of gives it that smooth finish on its own. All right. Hey, Laura. All right, so let's go ahead and put these drawers back in, and then we'll go ahead and we'll start working on the second part, which is the second coat of the yellow. But what we're going to do is we're going to add some of the peony over in the edges over here and just blend them in kind of like this way, diagonally into it. Hey, Lynn. We're going to blend that in diagonally. I want you guys to see that these colors, sometimes even if it's not your favorite, oh, that drawer doesn't fit in that drawer, that's why. Even if it's not your favorite color, it still works well. These colors can use for accenting. So like the peony, I would use the peony. I'm actually using it on something for my granddaughter. It's perfect for a little girl's thing. It's a little table. It's with a chalkboard finish and everything on it that I'm doing. But it's not something I would paint a dresser in. But what I mean to tell you for the colors is every color is beautiful in its own way. All right, I'm not sure why this drawer does not want to go in. Give me 2 seconds, guys. I'm just trying to put this drawer in. I must have did something when I pulled it out. Oh, of course, while I'm on camera is when my drawer doesn't want to go in. So I'm going to keep this drawer out because then I have to figure out why it's not going in when it was going in before. This one looks a little crooked, so I'm guessing I might have drawers in the wrong places, and that's why they're not fitting. And, yeah, that's exactly why. I probably should have paid attention to Sam. All right, so what I was going over was sometimes the colors that you would think you would use are not the colors you would use because, in all honesty, sometimes they're just not made for that stuff, right? So I'm going to grab my other small brush because I'm going to use a small brush that I had. Let me figure out where I put it. The one that I wanted to use was a specific brush. Oh, it's over here, sorry. And we're going to do some of the peony, which is the bright pink accents, but we're going to put them in diagonally because we're going to give it a little bit of fanciness. Miss Fancy Pantsiness. So now this is a new one. The one that I had, actually, I used it all on that other table. And again, I'm going to open this with you guys here so you can see. If you open up your paints, oh, and this one's on good. Sometimes when you open up your paints, it's kind of hard. So instead of opening this whole thing up, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make a spout out of it. Do you guys see how I just push that little corner in there? And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put, I'm making a mess. I'm the worst. I'm the messiest painter in the world. Like I make messes everywhere as I'm painting. I'm just going to pour a little bit. I made it into a spout because we're not going to use a lot anyways. I'm only going to use like that much. So if you have your 8-ounce paints and you don't want to open it all the way, you can do it as a spout by pulling it open and just closing it up when you're done. See that? And then you don't have to worry about it. All right. So before we do that, let's go ahead and put our second coat of Daisy on the front of these drawers. So I sprayed it down and I'm putting my second coat on. It's just that coat that's going to stabilize and just give it that nice finish. Using the spray bottle to kind of manipulate that paint. All right, now what I want to do is put this brush on there the right way. All right, so remember if I've told you guys before, you always want to wet your brush before you use it. Got a little bit of collard green on there. You want to wet your brush before you use it and leave it damp because that's what helps it accept the paint. So can you guys see how little of that I'm putting on there? I'm going to take it. All right, we're going to do that corner. And then I am going to do this corner. See how I did that? And then we're going to follow that pattern, but I might reverse them. I'm not sure yet. I haven't decided. Or maybe not. All right, I'm going to do this corner. I'm going to reverse the pattern into this corner. See how I'm putting that pink on? I like the pink too, Lynn. This was like on the top. People just didn't like it. I'm not sure. And then I'm going to blend that to let it go right to the next one. in that corner. And then I'll do this corner. And then I'm going to follow that through with the next one, doing this corner. It's funny because I catch myself painting and I do faces. I do like, and I never realized it until one day I was sitting here and some other people noticed it. You know, that other person that's in my house. I make faces when I'm painting. So, it's probably good that I don't always have an audience. All right, so what I'm going to do is, this is the brush that I use to put that pink on. I want to blend with that as well. So what I'm actually going to do is personally, I just use my apron, but I'm gonna try and do a blend with the yellow. And I'm not gonna be able to use this brush because it doesn't like me right now. All right, let's use this one. This is one of our Chalk Pro blender brushes. Of course, I'm gonna wet it, and then I'm just gonna do some little blending right in here. See how, again, it's just a slight flick of the hand. I'm going to pull this out just a little bit because I'm getting paint on our top part and we don't want to do that. And then I'm noticing that I've got a couple edges that I think I want a little more paint on. So you're looking at it now and you're going, yeah, I'm still not liking it, right? Well, you got to remember, when you're doing a piece, there's times that I've gotten to a piece and then I get to it and I'm like, wow, I just don't like that. I just don't think it's going to work. And then I add just enough to get it going. And when I say just enough to get it going, I'm meaning like I add the transfers and it just brings it all together. Like, it's amazing how much it brings it all together. So a transfer on a piece like this is perfect, and these colors that we're doing are going to highlight all the colors in that transfer that are going to bring it onto here. All right, so I'm going to push this one in, push that one in. I'm going to pull this one out, and we're going to do some more pink. Again, I'm going to wet it down just a little, just enough so that while I'm in here, I can use that sleight of the hand, just the wisping, just to get it all in there. I actually probably need just a little bit of yellow in here. The yellow is kind of dried up on that end. So I'm going to put a little more yellow in there to kind of blend it a little bit. You guys see how that blends in nice and soft? That blending brush. So it's funny because I typically am that person too that I will tend to kind of change things as I'm going along. So for example, I only wanted to do the very corner. I'm now going to bring it down to the edges as well. Kind of neat. I like it. Let's put a little bit more over here. And a little bit of yellow just to kind of get this along. Because the yellow, like I said, I know on the other side had started to... So I'm going to go ahead, wet my brush, and then I'm going to wisp it in. So I have that nice little blending of color in that area. See how that drawer kind of like gets a little more of a blending thing? As I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow, I think I want to do that up here. All right, so then that drawer is done. Let's get to the third drawer. I'm going to pull that one out and we'll start it. All right, here we go. Now, this brush What are you guys thinking of the pink? What are you thinking of the incorporation of the pink? Because that was the color that you guys chose. So what are you guys thinking of that incorporation of that pink into this? What do you think? Do you think it's flowing? Do you think it's not flowing? I'm curious what everybody's thought is. I'm going to add a little more yellow. Curious with the thought. It looks like a tequila sunrise. Yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it? So it's funny, as I was watching all of the stuff come through that you guys are voting on for the colors, I was thinking, oh Lord, please don't let rustic red be in there. So you guys are all voting these ones, and I was praying, because somebody had said the rustic red. There was a couple people actually, but it wasn't enough to get in there. If I had just had one more person vote the rustic red, I would have been like, oh crap, where am I going to put that rustic red in? I would have figured it out. But then I was like, once I saw these colors, I was like, wow, I wish somebody had picked a teal of some type, because that would have been a nice little color, right? To add on to all this smorgasbord of colors I got going on. All right. I keep flipping around in front of you guys because I'm trying to get all this. All right. So let's do this. And then I'm going to actually, I'm putting the rest one off again. Sorry, guys. Some yellow. All right. I don't know if you understood me, but that was yellow. And again, I'm going to blend this up. Isn't that great how it just kind of like soothes right into it? To me, it's like a soothing blend color. It's almost making it like a coral color in some areas, the way that this is blending. And I don't care if it's going a little over what we had decided, because it's only going to bring all of those transfers that we're going to do on here together. So this is the 1-inch Chalk Pro blender brush. If you have not tried our Chalk Pro brushes yet, they are great. I have a friend, if you guys, she's on here, sometimes she jumps on here, Sue Bissette. She's been using them, and she cannot believe how well they actually clean. To her, it's just like clean, clean. Hey, Lynn, have you been using yours? Can I see the side of the drawers? Are they blended in as well? No, the drawers aren't even painted yet. I'm not sure what I'm going to do on the drawers yet. They're literally nothing on them. I did not do those. I blended the side of the bureau, and we did the top with that, which I'm actually going to wipe back here in a minute. And then we did all of that part. So we're done with this part for now. I'm actually I am really happy with the way this is coming out. I know it looks a little haphazard, but it's exactly what I wanted it to look like, because we're going to have, like I said, we're going to do transfers on here. I'm actually going to force this to dry so we can do the transfers together. I personally wrap my paints in saran wrap until I can wash them, because we're going to be down here working for a little bit, and I know that I can't get to my sink to actually clean them, so I want to go ahead and make sure that they stay moist. I also have had where I keep jars, and I just put the brushes inside of the jars in just about that much water. However, I didn't bring the jar down with me tonight, so today it's wrapping with saran wrap. Hey, Lynn said that she's been using the Chalk Pro brushes. That's awesome. We did get a couple new ones in. We got the large flat and the medium flat. They will be available at Junction tomorrow evening. They literally just came in right before I started my call tonight, so I haven't had a chance to tag them and get them over there, but they will go in over there. I also make sure I close all of my paints, and I just realized that I forgot this brush. Lynn said, sweet, I want more. Awesome. Hey, Lynn, question. Do me a favor. Drop your page in here. So Lynn is also has some things that are going to be on that tutorial, that the course that I'm doing. The one thing that I haven't talked about tonight, that I will as soon as I find the lid to my Colonel Mustard, here it is. In addition to the course that I'm going to be launching, I'm going to be doing a creative, it's going to be called Creative Connections Corner. It's going to be based on our page, and a lot of the local artists will be guests on there. They'll be teaching different things. I'd love to get Lynn to teach a couple of her things on there. It'll be launched most likely in the next week as well. It'll be a group all through here. When you join the group, it is a private group, and when you join it, you will get 10% off of anything on the JJ Bean site and my other company that we own, which that I have, which is Creative Arts, which is the mugs and different things like that. So that'll be launching this week or next week. I still have Vinny home, so I'm trying to kind of do stuff in between Vinny. And on there will be all different tutorials. There'll be painting tutorials, it'll be tips, it'll be crafting. Those of you guys that know me know that I used to own a glassware painting company, so I'm going to teach some glassware painting. I'm going to teach some different craft ideas. I'm going to get some of the locals people to come in and do lives and teach other things. It's basically going to be a creative corner, a little bit of everything, not just furniture painting. If you're like me, you love doing this, but you really love doing a little of everything. So that hopefully in the next 2 weeks. So, all right, what I want to do is I'm going to wipe this top part back right now because we do have all the stain on there, and the stain on the edges is where I stained the pine cone right here. So I'm going to wipe it back because I want that to be wiped back. I don't want it to be the pure stain. So I'm not sure if you can see how Cheryl's exciting stuff. Thanks, Cheryl. I'm pretty excited too. I'm actually probably going to have to do some redoing on this one side because I noticed that I got the stain on the top part there. All right, what I'm going to do is I am literally going to flip this. I think. I do have some areas that I want to work on, though. I'm not really happy with a couple of these areas, so I went and put all this stuff back, and then I'm noticing a couple areas that I really want to work on. Before I start putting these transfers on, I kind of want to blend a couple areas that I feel could be blended just a little bit more. Just touched up just a little bit. And then we'll go ahead and work on those transfers. We're going to have to do like a quick dry process on this and pray that they work. Whoa, I put too much on that. All right, let me get some of my paint, my yellow. This is what's great about Dixie Belle paints. It's so forgiving, and you can work with it. It's pliable enough. It's workable enough that you can actually work it and go right over. You make a mistake, it's not a big deal. It's forgiving. It works well with you. I'm just noticing that some of the corners, they blended so well that they blended the paint off on a couple of the corners. And I just wanted to fix them. I don't know if you guys can notice it from in there, but it definitely does that. So who else uses Dixie Belle paints that's on my call right now? I'd love to hear your thoughts on a lot of the Dixie Belle paints and how they work for you. I love them. So I'm a fan of a couple paints. I love Dixie Belle. I love Fusion. Fusion is a nice paint. It has a top coat built right into it as well. Another great paint is Bungalow. So Bungalow paints we actually have at Junction. One of the girls there sells it, Jill. If you guys aren't familiar with Jill, you should get to know her, Silly Jill. She's pretty cool. She has amazing talent. I'm just trying to force the dry on these so that we can go ahead and put some of these transfers on. Because I want to be able to close my drawers to do the transfers. This paint is already mostly dry anyways, but I really want to kind of force it so that I can. So what has everybody been working on? Anybody been working on any really fun stuff lately? That drawer does not fit there. I have a feeling I mixed these two drawers up. I'm probably going to have to take it down and probably fix that. Or maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't. Anybody working on any really cool projects? Curious. Hey, Deb. All right, so this drawer, I put it in the wrong spot because it's not closing correctly, and they were closing perfect before, so it makes me think that I have it in the wrong spot. So let's check out where I could have possibly put it. And I'm praying that it can switch with this one because of the way that they're, you know, we'll find out in a second. Ooh, fits like a glove. What about this one? Of course it doesn't. Ah! So I was hoping that that would do that because I want to get these to close nice. Nope. Oh, we got it. Sweet! Alright, so our drawers are now closed. Thank God. Cheryl said, I just finished my cedar chest and I haven't taken a picture yet. Awesome! I can't wait to see it. Alright, so the transfer that I'm going to use tonight is not a redesigned Prima transfer. Sorry, guys. It's one that I actually, hey, Joshua. It's actually an IOD transfer that I probably should have cut before I sat down so that I could open it. Give me 2 seconds, guys, so I can open this up. All right, so it's actually an IOD transfer, and it is actually oh, come on. It's actually put together so well I can't cut it open. Hold on. Are you kidding me right now? Did my thing just, oh, it popped in. Okay. I'm like, did I just break my... Guys, are you guys seeing this? I literally can't cut this thing open, and it keeps closing my blade on me. Oh, for the love of God. All right, I got it. Here we go. All right, so the difference from the Dixie Belle and the IOD transfers are they are much larger. You guys see this? Look how cool this is. We're actually going to put a few of these. We're going to cut them. See how neat those are? Don't you think that's really cool? I was thinking that this would go really, really nice on here. Specifically, I liked this right here, that blue one. I'm thinking, wow, that'll work out really well. So, and of course, guess who did not bring her scissors over here? I am so disorganized. I need somebody to organize me while I do this stuff. Go grab my scissors. All right, disorganized lady's back. Sorry, guys. Wow, I really need to get my stuff together here. I'm gonna blame it on I have Vinny brain right now. All right, so the way that these work, I personally cut them. This one is actually made to be pieced together. It's called a piece transfer. Some of them are not, and some of them are. This is definitely one that is. So. And what I love about these is I cut them and I place them where I want them, and That way I make my own specific design with them. They're not really something that is, it's unique. All right, I'll just let that drop for now. All right, so that has it on the white backing. You're gonna wanna take them off the white backing. I am literally, because I kind of want this to overlap onto the side a little bit. So I am thinking just, or do I want that like that? And let the, I think I'm going to do it like this. Do you guys see how I have it towards the bottom? And I have it kind of going over the top. Now, the good thing about IOD transfers that are a little different than the Dixie Belle ones is they do tend to stick a little bit easier when you, I say that as it starts rolling down the thing. When you put them on, I typically will tape them to keep them on if I feel that it needs to be taped. I don't think that this one needs to be taped. All right, so we're gonna start with this. We're gonna actually use my stick. These are the sticks that come with it. And as you can see, I'm literally going right over the drawers where they are because I am going to piece it through those spaces in the drawers as well. So I'm just gonna rub it on. And alright, so this side is already starting to come up, so they're pretty easy to put on. I don't know if you can see that, that's already going on to there. And then let's get this started. As you lift them up, if you see it like kind of not coming off, then you're going to want to keep rubbing. I'm trying to get this off enough so I can show you the drawer, what we're going to do with the drawers. Whoops. Now, that happens. It'll break apart like to the side. Just remember, you can always touch up a little bit of paint because we're putting it, we haven't sealed this paint yet. You do not want to put transfers over sealed paint. You want it to adhere to the roughness of the paint that you're using. So do not seal them. So what I'm going to do before I finish doing this is I'm actually going to cut this clear part away so that I can show you how I'm going to do these drawers before I do the rest of it. Alright, so right now it's on our piece right here. Look how cute that is. Just looks really cute. Alright, so do you see what that split is? I'm actually going to take my razor blade and I am going to go right through the center, and it's a very thin transfer. Go through right through the center. I'm going to take this one and put it down over here. I'm going to take this one and put it down over here. So now it's just a continuous design as it goes through. I'm going to do the same thing over here. I usually start at the center of the transfer and go out because it's taut enough to be able to do that. Same thing here and here and here. Now, that part of that transfer is on. Look how cute that looks. I'm looking at it in the mirror with you guys, in the thing, and I'm like, wow, that just like brings it all together. All right, I'm going to continue with the transfer. I broke my stick. Look, my stick is doing its own little thing over here. So let's continue with this transfer and get this baby all on. Now this one, what I want to do is, because I'm going to flip this and kind of try and get this over to here. Do you see how I cut that so I can take this sleeve? Because I want it to go over and wrap. I have this thing about wrapping my transfers in different areas, and we're going to be putting a bunch of them on this thing. This whole thing is basically going to be done in these transfers with this blending as the background, so, and it'll go down the sides and everything else. I can get my fingers underneath here to grab this. Alright, so as you're pulling your transfer up though, you have to be careful that it has adhered before you start pulling it up. You don't want to tear it, okay? And it will tear if it's not completely on. So you just want to make sure that your transfer is completely on. I try to concentrate on the edges because the edges are the ones that tend to come up and don't transfer on, if you know what I mean. So for this one, because of where that meets the drawer, I want to pull this side. I want to kind of pull it this way. And as you can see, as I'm going over it, I'm noticing the spots that need to be adhered. Oh, I love this thing. I'm loving it already. I just touched all of the stuff on the top. I was like, oh, please don't let me ruin that. Thanks, Lynn. See, for this one, I probably should cut this. Sometimes you'll realize that you need to cut the plastic away to get this one right here. Will want to adhere into here in order for me to peel it. There we go. Now, oh, look at how beautiful that looks. I'm loving it. All right, let's go down here. Pretty cool, right? I'm liking this so much. It just really, really gives it that bang, I feel, you know? That perfect little bang with those colors. What do you guys think about that? Looks pretty awesome, right? All right, now you'll see that there is some spacing here. Again, there's the drawer, so I'm going to start in the center. I'm trying to figure out where my center is. I'm going to go all the way across and then go all the way across. So then this goes this way, this goes this way, and this one actually went through the center a little bit. There's a little more spacing there. You see how that goes on? And then I have to split it right here for the actual drawer itself. You can see that. That one I might do some touch-ups with paint. Now, whoop, do this one. Now, if there's a space in between, so there's a space over here that I'm noticing that, you know, the transfer looks all great on the front, but when you get to these sides over here, it says, I'm not so sure about this. So what I'm going to do is probably take a little bit of paint and touch it up to actually blend it. All right, so the other thing when you're doing your transfers, you always want to burnish your transfers before you seal them. I rub my hands and my fingers over every edge, over everything that needs to be put on here. Make sure they're down. You do know when your transfer is coming back up, right? How crappy would that be? So I burnish them with my fingers. Sometimes I'll take like a finishing pad. Actually, there's one right here. This is a finishing pad, and I'll just go over it real quick just to make sure that everything is burnished and on. Because if I go to seal this and this is not on completely, it will peel up, and you don't want you just have to peel up, right? It's just not going to be cool. All right. So that is basically, thank you guys. I appreciate it very much. This is the start of what we're working on. I am going to work on the rest of this. Here, I feel like you guys have been looking at this thing all the time. Let's I want to see your faces. I'm going to work on the rest of this outside of the call. And when it's done, I'll get some awesome pictures and we'll show you guys what the finished result was. So the moral of the story of this project was, just because it's a color that you typically wouldn't use, it doesn't mean you can't use it, because what it is you use those colors for accenting. Like I said, I would never do a whole piece in this pink. Whoop, this side of the pink is what you can see in the pink. But look at how nicely that accented that using that peony color, right? And then let's flip it around here. The collard green, can you see that, guys? Oh, let me see if I can move it. Hey, Tracy, the collard green is not something you would usually use. But watch, when I use this and I put this on here with this, it is going to blend it in and it's going to look nice. Because every color has a spot and a way to blend things together. So I am actually going to finish working on this. Hopefully, maybe I can finish it tonight. And then I will put some pictures up. If not, I'll be finishing it tomorrow. And you guys can all see the finished product. As usual, guys, thanks for tuning in. Just to recap on some things that I chatted with you about tonight. I apologize that I haven't been on. I've been literally being a mom, or bonus mom, as Vinny calls me, as bonus mom. And he's my importance when he's home, so I tend to put other things aside, and I'm sure you guys understand. What I have been working on the sidelines when I can't come down and paint, because I can on the computer when he's with me, is I've been building a course on how to sell your painted furniture, and that hopefully will launch late next week or the week after. And we are also going to be starting a Creative Connections Corner. And what that is it's going to be a paid group. It's going to be a middle amount, probably $10 or $15 a month, just to cover the cost of producing the videos and different things like that that'll be on there. And it'll also give you a 10% discount on our website, as well as 10% off of Creative Arts. So I'll be launching that probably sometime next week. I kind of wanted to get a few resources in there. I have the group started. I just want to get some resources and stuff in there. And then any of our local people that are watching that are furniture artists, like Lynn from Liquid Vintage Industries, I would implore you to please come on and do some great tutorials in the group for everybody that's joined it. The Creative Connections group will not be just furniture. We'll be teaching glassware painting. We'll be teaching other crafts. I have somebody that does flowers that's going to probably come on and teach a couple things. We might have a canvas. Somebody comes on and teaches a canvas class. It's just a little bit of everything, so you can have all your resources in one place. I'll be sharing the videos that a lot of the ambassadors do in the group, so that you don't have to search for the things that you want to know. You want to know something that I can't teach? I'll have the video on there so that you guys can see how it needs to be done. And it'll be taught from someone that's a professional, so that you don't always have to search to get your answers for everything. So I'm going to finish this up, and I will get some stuff online so you guys can kind of see what it looks like when it's said and done. Everybody have a wonderful evening. Thanks for joining in and putting me to this challenge. This is a great challenge. All right. See you later.